Welcome to the official Budhole podcast, bringing you movies, video games, and randomness in between. Now bringing your hosts, Scott, the Great Brandino, Gage's Rage, and Star Lamar.
It's always a little bit of a downer when you got to cut the intro a little bit to jump in and announce the next episode of the podcast, which, by the way, is 164. We're only 5 away from what?
Ooh,
169.
Nice.
69.
I couldn't do math that quick.
Wait, Gage,
Like
what movie did
170?
you pick for us to watch?
My last pick was, I don't even know. It was actually Star's
It was
pick.
Borat.
Oh, yeah, Borat.
Oh, yeah.
Which I watched, by the way.
You did it?
So I had to give a
Subsequent
real
movie
movie
film.
review score, and I'm going to right now. 6.9.
Nice.
Isn't that what we all gave it?
That is what it came out across the board.
It's real easy to do the math when 6.9, 6.9.
That's average. 6.9. So
But
this
this
last
week-
week's, I picked the Polar Express for Christmas,
Oh, shit. I think I watched the wrong movie.
starring Tom Hanks. It's about a train that goes to the North Pole. I don't know if all the kids don't believe in no, I picked The Express,
The Express.
which is the Ernie Davis story. And I will admit, before I watched the movie for the first time, I didn't even know who Ernie Davis was. I went and saw it in theaters, and it was all new to me, seeing this play out. But it takes place in the early 60s, late 50s,
Yep.
and it's about a running back out of. He
New York.
goes to New York when he goes to live with his mom. But prior to that, he was in Pennsylvania, I think, living with his grandpa.
Pennsylvania sounds right.
And he kind of follows in the footsteps of one Jim Brown. He goes to Syracuse University after he's recruited by Jim Brown, and it kind of just tells his story as the first African American to win the Heisman Trophy.
He wasn't the one who broke through the barrier, but he was also one of the big ones. He followed right up after Jim Brown. Jim
Yeah.
Brown was obviously the biggest one, but
There were schools that would recruit and play African Americans, but at that time, like all the Southern schools wouldn't touch them.
Yep.
And there's some scenes during it where they would go to West Virginia or to Texas, and the African American players couldn't stay at the same hotel as the rest of the team, couldn't eat at the same restaurants as people on the team.
yeah.
The racial component was almost as big a part of the movie as the story of Ernie Johnson.
Davis.
Ernie Davis. Yes, Ernie Johnson.
Did
But-
you watch?
I did.
He
Brandon,
read.
you were calling him Ernie Campbell.
No, I was saying Earl Campbell, and it's because I didn't know who the movie was about.
But
And this was on Friday before I watched it.
I actually have a few questions regarding this. Did he actually get how much of it's real and how much of it was fantasized for the movie?
I bet you as much as is fantasized in all other movies
Okay.
like that. I did read some stuff that, like, the West Virginia game was actually played in Syracuse of that year. They didn't actually go to West Virginia.
But it kind of worked to make it West Virginia to paint the picture of the racism and how the races.
In the South, yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's the coach during that game wouldn't let him score.
Yeah.
He said, no, if you score, I don't know if our team's getting out of here. So, let him go between the 10s and then put in a white running back.
See, I feel like all that was still true.
Yeah. It might not
It
have
had to have
happened
been.
specifically the way that they portrayed it in the
portrayed
movie.
The
Yeah.
But
exact game or exact.
Well,
Yeah.
I'd
team,
say
yeah.
even the exact games,
I'd say it's probably close, but some of it, like Star said, West Virginia might have been at home versus away or something. Maybe a few things got changed up, but I would say overall, I'm sure the component 90% factual. They can't get every single conversation in the locker room between the guys and what happened and
yeah.
when they happened, but they can get pretty damn close.
Did Jim Brown actually recruit him to Syracuse then?
I believe so.
Was it?
I as far as I know, I didn't see that and think that's weird because even at the end of the movie,
Ernie was doing the same.
Ernie was
Floyd
doing
Little.
the same thing to Floyd Little. Chadwick Boseman, rest in peace.
It says Davis was recruited by his hero, Jim Brown.
And was it per the coach's request? Would be my next question.
My guess would be, I don't know how to.
Okay.
I don't know if we can fact that.
I'm just kind of curious about some of it. So then, who's the guy that he recruits at the end of the movie? Roy Little?
Floyd Little.
Played
Played
what
9
was
years.
he in
was
the
a-
NFL?
He played 9 years. Nine
Yeah, it said
successful
at
years.
the end of it he played 9 years in the NFL.
I think Denver.
Yes.
I think that's what it said.
Because, okay, that makes sense.
I mean, we can go through the movie. We don't
Yeah.
need to do it how we usually do. He shows up at the time. Freshmen couldn't start. They were ineligible. So coach puts him on varsity and has him dress anyways because he says he's going to make our defense better. He's the best player on the field. He might as well practice with these guys. There's
Big,
the
fast, strong.
stereotypical middle linebacker that doesn't get along. I feel every football movie has that.
Yep.
Mean middle linebacker that doesn't like the offensive star.
Your Burficks.
BMS.
Yeah.
Yeah, your Thads.
Thad Castles. So it kind of goes slowly through his freshman year, quickly through his freshman year, into his sophomore year where he flies onto the scene. He's the best player against basically anyone they're playing. Another thing racially that comes into play is his coach hints to him that he should not talk to white women, shouldn't speak to white women, shouldn't date white women.
Yeah, there's only one thing worse than murder, and it's a black guy talking to a white woman. That's an actual line from the movie. He said it was him and the offensive tackle talking. I don't remember the tackle's
His
name.
buddy's his
Yep.
best friend. Yeah.
But his friend says he got kicked. The old running back got kicked off the team or whatever, and he says
Quarterback.
the old quarterback got kicked off the team, and he said, "Well, what did he do? Did he kill somebody?" He said, "No, the only thing worse, he talked to a white woman, dated a white woman." Sorry. So
Yep.
Even though this coach wanted him, highly recruited, took Jim Brown to go get him, he still had a little bit of racism in himself. He still was kind of going with how society was at that time.
Yeah,
He wasn't a trailblazer and very progressive or anything like that. He just valued winning over
Anything
racism.
else.
color of the skin.
Yeah.
Because by the end of the movie, he's even Ernie Davis in his acceptance speech is like, "Thanks, coach, for being a great coach and a better man." And I'm thinking, well, I mean, for the first half of his career at Syracuse, he's not letting him score touchdowns. He's pretty much just falling into the stereotypes, and he's not necessarily imploring them, but he's letting them happen without giving any fight to them.
Well, same for the national title game as well. He caves like a bitch and takes him out for the second half until he needs him again.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So they do win the national title his sophomore year. And did they say whether they had won with Jim Brown, or was that their first national
That was
title?
the first national
Yeah,
title.
so
I believe so.
he brought him. The team starts to accept him a little more. You know, then when they're giving the national trophy to him, they say the country club that they're supposed to do it at doesn't allow black people. And the team says, "Heard there's good barbecue in Texas." So they go to a barbecue place and celebrate there as a team rather than going to the ritzy country club.
One thing really quick before we get too into that, though. They get to the point where they're the number one team in the country, and they have a choice. They can play number 9 Georgia, I think it was number 9, or number 2 Texas. Is that actually how it worked before?
I think you get asked to go to a bowl game,
Which is
and
what
you
this
have
was.
to accept.
Yeah, okay.
So they were invited to 2 different bowls.
So it was either it was 2 good bowls.
Cotton Bowl,
Cotton Bowl
And
and
the Rose Bowl.
no, it was in
Fiesta
Miami.
Bowl or something.
Orange Bowl.
Orange Bowl, maybe. It was 2 good bowl games, though.
Yep.
Yeah.
And either way, if they won, they were going to be number one in the country, national champions. But
But-
Schwartzwalder was like, "I want to play the best team." It's like, but it's your vote. And then Ernie steps up and says, "Let's play Texas." And then everybody says, "Let's play
Okay.
Texas."
So basically, they just invited them to 2 different bowls, and they would get to pick which bowl game they wanted to accept based on the opponent.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
And I don't know if it still happens like that because a lot of them are like 4th place in the Big Ten versus 4th place in the Big West.
When they eliminated the BCS from crowning a national title, national champion, and they went to the playoff format, that all got blown out. Now there's automatic qualifiers.
Because there is at-large bids.
Yep.
So that is where they can pick a team and say, hey, we want you in our bowl game.
Yep.
But a lot of them is second place in the ACC versus at large.
The big bowls are now.
Yeah.
Like the Orange Bowl, Cotton Bowl, Fiesta Bowl, all of those are at-large bids. The rest,
Well,
they
like
pick.
the Rose Bowl is Big Ten versus Pac-12 still.
The winner of the two.
Yeah, but
Or-
even recent years, if one team makes it into the playoffs, they just take second place
Yep.
from that division and fill the spot.
Yep.
So they win. It kind of fast forwards to him being a finalist for the Heisman Trophy. No black person has ever won the Heisman Trophy before. There's 2 out of the 3 finalists
Yep.
are black, and they're sitting there, and you can tell they both kind of figure they don't have a shot in hell at this. It's a shiny quarterback sitting right there. They think he's going to get it. And they announce his name. He looks shocked. He goes and accepts it. Thanks, coaches. He's groundbreaking shit right there. It's hard to believe that there's even a thing. They didn't have black with Jim Brown and all those players not even getting looked at for the Heisman Trophy. It's going into the draft. Washington Redskins have the number 1 overall pick. They refuse to allow black people on their team. They know Cleveland doesn't care. Swap the pick with Cleveland. Drafts him 101. Goes to team up with his boy Jim Brown in the Cleveland backfield. That's what he thought.
Which would have been lethal.
Yeah.
So good.
So throughout training camp, he starts to have nosebleeds. He's weak. He's unfocused. He doesn't know what's going on. Goes to the doctors. Doctors don't even know what's going on. Goes back to training camp. GM of the team or owner of the team? I believe it was the owner of the Browns.
Owner, yeah.
Because I recognize the name.
Paul Brown.
That might have been it. Comes out and says, hey, we need you to sit out. You're not going to play. And he's like, no, I'm fine. I can play. They said, no, you're not going to play this whole year. Like, the doctors don't know what's wrong with you, but they know something's wrong with you. You need to get out of here. At this point, he has a girlfriend that he had throughout college who got a job offer in Oakland, and he's telling her to take it. That's a great opportunity. She kind of thinks that it's a little sus. It's like, what's happened? How sick are you?
Mm-hmm.
And that's when they reveal to us that he's got leukemia. And his playing days are over. And coach comes, uses him one last time as a player to recruit Chadwick Boseman, who actually got drafted by the Browns in draft day. Full circle right there.
Really?
As a middle linebacker, yeah.
That's cool.
Not Chadwick Boseman, but character Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah.
And then it reveals that he died in 1963 or something like that, I believe. Which
Age 23.
Age 23, which it was like a year after the events of the movie. So we never got to play down in the NFL. First overall pick, first black person to win the Heisman Trophy. Sad, emotional.
They retired his number immediately
Yeah.
after he died. Nobody can wear 45 on the Browns anymore.
Yeah, didn't play a snap for him, but still retired his number.
That's pretty cool.
That's just insane.
It was a very emotional story.
Yeah.
I felt like they did, for the most part, a pretty good job of time jumps.
Yeah.
I felt like some parts of it seemed as though it got a little bit too sped up, but it's really hard to get all of that information into one movie.
Yeah. When there's like one football season that feels like the core of the movie.
Yeah.
And then that's over and you're like, oh, this movie's almost done. There's still 20, 25 minutes left to kind of show everything that happened after that national champion season.
Because they jumped from his sophomore year to his senior year.
We missed his pop died.
Yeah.
While he was at school.
Oh.
That was really sad for him.
So, yeah, I mean, we jumped over
a lot
of stuff.
But that was a big deal in his life.
Yeah, when he was growing up, his grandpa was his father figure. His mom didn't have the money to take care of him. She ended up getting married again and then moved him to Elmira. And I think that's how he got the Express, the Elmira Express. So that's why he got that nickname. But his grandpa he had a stutter when he was younger, and his grandpa kind of helped him, kind of get through that and work through that. And then his grandpa was also there when Jim Brown was recruiting.
Mm-hmm. And when Jackie Robinson broke the color barrier for baseball, he was with his grandpa watching on TV, and that kind of inspired him to think that he could do something with football as a career.
Yeah, and then I know when he was getting recruited, he was talking to Jim Brown. He was laying it to him straight. He's like, you're not going to have an easy time. Syracuse is not going to treat you well. Like, you're going to have issues, but coach is a hell of a coach.
Yes.
He's like,
He'll make you better.
He's going to make you better. Whether or not they agreed on everything, he's still going to make him better. And
Yeah.
what I liked was his grandpa was like, so, like, tell me why they should pick you. And he's like, well, Syracuse is a good school, good education, good. No, he's like, why should he pick you? Like, you're going to be the one who's teaching my grandson. You're going to be the one teaching him how to be a better man. And I think right there, that's when the Schwartzwalder or whatever was like, okay, we got a good one.
We'll just call him Dennis Quaid.
Yeah, Quaid. Quaid was like that.
Quaid's line. He's like, "Oh, make sure you take everything Jim Brown said with a grain of salt." And then he's like, "Oh, even if he said good stuff, what would you say then?" Too much salt's bad for you anyway.
Yes, that line is great. Oh, Jalen Hurts is in the game officially. This is now, well, the next
round.
podcast. Imagine that. 24 hours later, the Eagles and the Seahawks are still playing. And
So-
they just had a
False
fucking all
start.
sorts. Everybody false started but the center.
Did you guys know Ernie Davis? Like, did you
I did
know his
not
story
know.
at all?
I didn't know of him until you announced the movie, and I looked it up. Like,
Yeah.
I did not.
So
at all.
did you spoil the movie for you? Did you looking him up?
I just Google Ernie Davis, and I saw
Yeah.
what he was. I didn't know that he died of leukemia or got leukemia.
I'd
Yeah.
seen the movie before, but I didn't know before I saw the movie.
Yeah.
I'm curious, when this movie came out in 2008, was this like a big talked about movie? Because I don't
No.
remember hearing about it at all.
Not-
No, I've always been a huge fan of sports movies.
Okay.
I watch like every single one that comes out. There's a new Disney Plus one called Safety. Looks pretty good. It's coming out soon.
Okay, because I thought for some reason that this movie was like, initially when you announced it, I thought it'd be like a 90s movie. So when I saw it's from 2008, I was like, wow.
No, it was under the radar.
Okay.
I think it's
I'd say under the radar.
yeah.
Definitely.
It's not Disney. Is it Disney?
No.
I don't think it's Disney. It's PG though.
Yeah.
Which is surprising because there's quite a bit of swearing and stuff in it.
Yeah, but I think it's just because it's historical.
Yeah.
yeah,
but
crazy
It's not
to think
Disney because
that
if it was Disney, it
60
wouldn't be
years
on
ago.
Hulu. It'd be only on Disney Plus.
That's true. Yeah, but I do remember when it came out that it was not at all on the heights of a Miracle or Remember the Titans or something that everyone saw.
Which that then led to us, our next conversation, which we were actually having before you got here for the podcast tonight, on your pantheon of sports movies. Where roughly is it? Is it a top 10 sports movie, top 20?
So this one has always been one of my favorite ones to tell people to watch because a lot of times Gage said he's had seen it, but most times people hadn't seen it. So
Yeah.
this is one that I preach about, maybe more than other ones that I like better, but I just know that people have seen. But as a football movie, I'd probably put it top 5 for me. I don't know if I could go that in sports in general, but
I think top 5 for football is definitely a fair thing. I think you could argue
Yeah.
that for sure. Top
Definitely.
5 football, I think you could argue it because then you're eliminating some of the great basketball movies. Obviously, Miracle. You're eliminating some of the great baseball movies that have been out.
Yeah.
Name
Football,
two.
I could see it. 2 baseballs
Yeah.
movies. The Rookie for one is a top baseball movie, and Moneyball,
I wouldn't rank it higher
Field
than
of
Moneyball.
Dreams,
Field of Dreams.
That's a good one.
League of Their
Sandlot?
Own.
Sandlot's a good one.
Sandlot's a great one.
That was 4.
Would you say League of Their Own? Yeah, that's 5 baseball. Boom, right off the top. Basketball. Coach
You didn't
Carter.
say name great ones. You just said name baseball.
What's the
movies.
one? What's
Yeah.
the recent basketball
Coach Carter,
movie
I
with?
love.
What's the
Coach
recent
Carter is a
basketball
shredder.
movie with Ben Affleck?
Some game.
I have no idea.
Have you seen it?
The Way Back.
Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Where he's an alcoholic.
Yeah. Is it good?
I think it's called The Way Back.
Coach Carter to me is
Coach Carter's up there.
Remember
for
the Titans
all-time 5. for
and
me.
Coach Carter are
The Way Back.
probably top 3 for me.
So do
The
you
Way
count-
Back. I don't know. I'd recommend that one.
You don't know that you would.
Yeah.
Not that
There's.
good.
It was all right, but I like resolution in my movies, and there wasn't a lot of resolution.
Ooh, Hardball. That's a baseball movie.
And it's great.
Ah, fuck.
G Baby.
barely?
Do it for
Balls
G,
Out.
baby.
One of the best tennis movies of all time. Balls Out.
Do you count
Balls of Fury. One of the
Gridiron,
best ping pong.
or Longest Yard?
Yeah.
You could,
Hell
but
yeah.
I would. I would rank The Express over Longest Yard, personally.
I don't know if I would.
Which Longest Yard are we talking? The Adam Sandler
Nelly?
one or the
Yeah.
original one?
I know the original, or the Adam Sandler,
Yeah.
not the original.
Brandon,
It's way
would you
better.
put The Express higher or the Adam Sandler Longest Yard higher? It's hard because they're two totally different movies.
Yeah, it's a very different mindset
True
going into
story
it.
versus comedy. I really enjoyed this movie, though.
If you were
I
good,
did.
if you
Yeah.
had to watch a movie this weekend, he probably would rather watch The Longest Yard, because that's a 2-hour movie that is, like he said in the text, kind of an emotional roller coaster. It's pretty heavy source material,
Yep.
and you can't watch it even once a year. Like,
I feel like they
You
should
gotta
do
spread that
more
out.
of these types of movies. I feel like ESPN or somewhere should take this where they could do one a year on historical sports figures. Because, like Babe Ruth, for instance,
yeah,
you could make a great movie on Lou Gehrig with Gehrig's disease. You could make a great sports movie on some of
Jackie
these.
Robinson. Yeah.
yeah. There's another
42,
baseball
yeah.
movie.
So there's been a lot
Chadwick
of good
Boseman.
sports movies.
Yep.
I think that this, for
Wakanda
me, just kind of spitballing it, would be like top 15, maybe.
Sports movies
movie.
ever?
Period. Yeah.
I don't know. I know I like this more than the general population probably does.
Yeah,
I
okay.
liked it a lot. If I had to give it a number,
What you do?
I would give it 7.7.
You'd give it a 7.7.
Yeah, I liked it quite a bit.
Wow. For a review score of 7.7, that's a hell of a way to start. I think we should save Stars for last, because Stars probably got the most invested in his score. I'm
pretty realistic about my scores, though.
I'm gonna go next, and I don't know what I've scored in the sevens range of the Budhole movie review so far, but this is in the sevens range. It's definitely not low sevens. It's mid to upper sevens.
Yep.
Gage kind of took my 7.7. I'm gonna go just a tick below Gage. I think I'm gonna go with a 7.65 on mine.
Now you're getting weird math.
Yeah, we'll just keep it even. 7.6.
Round up to 7.7.
All right, we'll go 7.7. See, this
Good.
is where I said I'll know my score when you guys talk me into going higher or lower.
I'm going to sit a little higher than you guys. I really enjoyed this movie.
Fair.
Again, it's hard to fathom that somebody actually had to go through the bullshit and getting punched on the field and the refs not like doing anything about it, not being able to go into the game to score the touchdowns.
He knew that that's the way it was, and he just
Let's remember too, this was only like 65 years ago.
Yeah, it's
Like,
crazy.
I know.
It was Dalvin Cook level of abuse.
For how great of a man he was to like be able to go through all that shit and not throw punches back, not lose his shit. I mean,
Yeah.
in the movie he only lost it once, and it was after his grandpa died.
and it was at his own teammate,
Yeah,
and it's because he was being a douche. Lundy was
Yeah.
a douche the entire time until the end. But the heartwarming story, all that he had to go through, the tragic ending, I'm giving it an 8.0. 8.0.
Ooh,
8-0.
I'm gonna come fly right under you at the 7.9.
Okay.
I just know that we gave 8. I don't remember exactly what it was,
8 gang is a
but it's hard for
strong-
me to put a movie in 8. Even though I really like it, everyone should watch it.
8 to 9 is a must watch.
Must watch. I'll still go 7.9 because if you're not a football fan, you might not enjoy it nearly as much.
I suppose.
Yeah.
I think you
You
can
don't-
still get a lot out of it, value wise. It's different watching this one than watching The Longest Yard, not being a football fan.
You guys
Yeah.
didn't watch it with the ladies?
Paige was out shopping, so I snuck it in. Kind of snuck it in. It's a long movie.
Yeah,
It's,
it
like,
is.
it's over 2 hours.
Yep.
Yeah. And it's not super fast paced. And
No,
then
yeah.
I think it was
outside of
the right pace. It was kind of like at moments it hit the gas and then it kind of slowed down, set you into the scene. I liked the pace. I really did.
Yeah, that's what I think. It's a must watch. My opinion.
I would actually agree with that
If
on the
you're-
most part. But I kind of think I'm in agreement with Star. Where like, if you're not a sports movie fan, it's obviously not for you. But I don't think that should influence our score on it.
I think if you like triumphing movies and again heartwarming stories and underdogs overcoming, it's a movie for you, regardless if you like sports or not.
And
That's fair.
the beginning when you takes the glass bottles
On the railroad
runs through
track?
it.
Yeah.
That was pretty badass.
Yeah.
So
I think that's what
badass.
hooked me right away. I was like, I like this guy.
But it
Yeah.
also sets the scene for the rest of the movie because that's kind of a.
He's been fighting for his forever.
It's kind of a little 2-3 minute bit right at the very beginning of the movie that shows almost the feeling of the whole movie.
Well, and he was writing a letter to the newspaper guy. And he's like, I have a lot to talk about. You know, his life has been tough.
It's been short, but I have a lot to say.
yeah.
God, 23 years of life. That's just insane. That in only 23 years, that's all the things that he saw. That's a lot in 23 years.
Mm-hmm.
And overcome.
It's a lot to overcome.
Oh yeah.
Great
Well,
movie. Great
I think
pick.
the most ridiculous thing about it all, though, is that at one point, Syracuse was actually good at football. That's crazy.
I think for a while there,
The
Yeah.
Orange Man.
that coach went into the Hall of Fame or
Dennis
college
Quaid
football
has
Hall
got
of
to
Fame.
be a college football Hall of Fame head coach. Hands down.
Best football coaches in movies.
Boone.
Waterboys.
No, Coach Boone.
Remember the Titans.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was thinking actors.
Oh,
So I was thinking Denzel.
Denzel.
Dennis Quaid. That guy in The Replacements.
Jackson.
Who's the guy from?
Which one is Jackson the coach of?
Coach Carter.
That's basketball, isn't it?
Yeah. Are we doing only football?
Oh, yeah, I suppose any.
Well, then Keanu Reeves,
Yeah, hardball.
Billy Bob Thornton.
Man.
Oh,
that's another
fucking
baseball
A,
one.
dude.
Damn.
Bad News Bears. That's an all-timer.
That's
That
a
is
banger.
such a good one.
Man, there's a lot of good baseball movies.
What's
I was
that?
wrong.
Bad
Who's
News
the
Bears.
guy from Honey, I Shrunk the Kids? Rick Moranis.
Yeah,
There we go.
Moranis, Rick
Rick
Moranis.
Moranis, Little Giants.
Dude, there's so many good sports movies.
So many
There's
good
so many
sports
good
movies.
sports.
Will Ferrell kicking and screaming.
That doesn't even include basketball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Happy Gilmore. Golf.
He had his coach Chubbs.
Talladega Nights. NASCAR.
That's not sport.
What's
There's
the
a
one
couple
with the
Days of
tropic?
Thunder.
Flint Tropics?
The shit. Will Ferrell.
Yeah, what the hell is it?
Balls of Fury.
No,
That would
Glory.
count, though.
The Glory Skates.
Average Joe's.
no, it's not that. The Flint
Dodgeball?
Tropics.
Dodgeball.
Why am I drawing a blank on
What
this?
movie? Like-
Semi-Pro. There we
Oh.
go.
Semi-pro. That's an all-timer,
But this
too.
is just making them all flood in when we're doing it because there's the Blades of Glory or whatever.
Yeah.
Ice
That's
skating.
the one. Yep.
Which I will say, I have never seen Blades of Glory.
Ooh.
But then you're also missing movies like Invincible. Who's the one where the
Radio.
dude was the skier? And
Eddie the Eagle.
Eddie the Eagle.
That's a good movie.
Dude,
I-
it was a little slow for me.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't really get into that one.
I like that one. I like that Taron Egerton, though, the actor in it.
What about
Star.
Soul Surf?
Yeah.
Surfer.
I haven't seen that one.
There's a lot
But what
of
about-
She
fucking
lost her
movies
arm, didn't
falling
she?
in.
Yep.
What's the one with the guy from Mad Men who gets the baseball players from India?
Oh,
$1 million.
Arm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Did you guys see that one?
Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
good
that
movie.
one
That's a
was good.
banger.
How
And
about
then
the Michael Orr movie?
The Blind Side. I just
Yeah.
watched that a couple weekends ago.
That's a
Showed you
good
guys
movie.
Coach O. I didn't never put that together. Coach O was in there.
Okay.
And then
That's right.
McFarland USA. Did you guys ever watch that one?
No.
About cross country.
No.
No.
That one was actually really good.
What's the Jamaican bobsled team?
Cool runnings.
Cool Runnings.
God,
See,
sports movies are great.
They
There's
are
been a
so
lot.
good.
There's been a
Okay.
lot.
And a lot of these are based on real story, but there's a lot of them that aren't too. Like we
Fictional,
said,
yep.
pretty much every Will Ferrell movie, in some
Happy
ways,
Gilmore.
a sports movie. Happy Gilmore,
Every Adam Sandler movie.
Adam Sandler.
Waterboy, Longest Yard.
There was never an inmates versus the guards football game.
Well, there's the one with the Rock in it.
Gridiron Gang.
Gridiron Gang.
Oh,
yeah, and the
fuck
50
yeah.
Cent one.
Get rich or die trying.
No, he was the
what you're talking
he was the
about.
one who
where
had
he-
cancer.
Yeah. He lost a shit ton of weight for it.
Yeah,
I actually never watched that one.
me
Me
neither.
neither.
It's like
I
some
never did
Brian
either.
song. There's a lot of old ones
Gridiron
that I've
Gang
never
was
seen.
a good one.
The Program. Did you guys ever see that one? Or Varsity Blues.
Varsity Blues.
Oh my god, that's a fucking banger too. I was
Yeah.
watching that one.
There's some good sports movies through the years.
I, Tanya.
That was actually a really good movie.
Never saw that.
Never saw. it.
Tanya Harding.
Skater.
Oh,
One notch below Blades Glory. Didn't she get busted for murder?
Oh, all the Rocky
No.
movies?
Yeah, if we're gonna talk about boxing, that's
Cinderella Man.
I put boxing movies on an entire different level as all the other movies. I love boxing.
Yeah,
movies.
they should be.
Southpaw.
What's the one with?
Well, there's a lot of boxer movies.
Ton of them.
There's a shit ton of.
There's
boxing.
the Michael
Creed
B.
ones.
Jackson's. Is that Creed, right?
Yeah, Michael B. Jordan.
Jordan. Yep.
There's the one with Miles Teller in it where he gets in the car accident and can't move, but he's determined to get back to it. I can't think of the name of it right now.
Miles Teller is one of the actors that's underrated. That's my overrated.
Or are you looking up top?
Yeah,
Sports
That's
movies all the time?
underrated. That's overrated.
I don't know. Now that we're
Yeah,
talking about it, I don't
remember
think The
we-
Express is top 30.
I know. There's so many good movies.
we had our actors or actresses back in the day. We had one that is like highly liked that we don't like, and one that's not as liked or not as popular, but we like a lot. Miles Teller is the one I like a lot.
Okay, I thought you were saying that you didn't like him.
No, he's great. Major League, Dodgeball,
Yep.
Rudy. I can't believe we didn't even say
Rudy. I watched that for the first time at your cabin, actually.
Really?
Yep.
Did you watch The Blob?
Heavyweights?
No? Never mind.
No, I don't think I did.
Bend It Like Beckham?
Never saw it.
Gage is a big soccer fan.
Field Fairy. for
There are
sure.
some good soccer movies. Big Green. That one was good.
Caddyshack.
Yeah,
That's
Caddyshack.
golf, though.
That counts. Golf's a sport.
There's the greatest game ever played.
Oh,
Legend of Bagger Vance.
What's the one? The girl's the boxer.
$1 Million Baby.
Yeah, oh, God,
That
fucking heartthrob at the end though.
that's like an extremely depressing
The
last
wrestling one?
25 minutes.
God, that
Just came out last couple years.
Ready to Rumble.
Ready to Rumble, but the girl wrestler.
Oh, I haven't seen it.
Oh,
Oh.
Fighting with My Family.
yeah.
With my family.
I
Tin
haven't
Cup.
watched that. Is that good?
That one was pretty good.
Hoosiers.
Just watched that for the first time
I haven't
recently.
seen
Never seen
Hoosiers.
it.
Oh, what? That's the one they fight the color barrier too, right?
No,
What's that one?
that's the Road to Glory. or
Glory Road.
Glory Road.
Glory
That's
Road,
a great
Glory
movie.
Road's a great movie.
Hoosiers is like a disgrace. It's kind of the way back. A disgraced basketball coach comes back to his high school, but he was like a high-level basketball coach, and in Indiana, and they hire him as their high school basketball coach. There's a lot of scenes from that you have seen in other movies.
Okay.
That didn't realize it was referencing that.
A
It's
League
such-
of Their Own.
Yeah, League of Their Own. Ali, the wrestler.
See,
Yeah,
Express ain't on
Rocky.
those lists. It's not even on the top football lists. for
Yeah,
the
well,
most
this is a
part.
shitty list because they didn't have as many good
Huh.
movies on there as they
That's-
should have. But
It's insane once you start getting people rolling on names of movies, the amount of sports movies there are out there.
fuck, where
My
we have
favorite
to,
type of movie, though.
they're great.
They are.
There's the underdog aspect of
Fun.
them. There's
Competition.
the real life aspect of them. It goes the sport. It goes outside of the sport,
Yep.
based on true stories.
That was one point I was going to make off of this movie is sports really, there is really truly something to be said about sports just breaking down all societal barriers. Meaning,
Well, it's where
sports
people are
and
supposed to be
music.
unified.
I would say sports and music are the two greatest unifiers in the world, period. As far as
They cross barriers without a doubt.
Well, think about
barriers
it.
that people would otherwise never cross.
Back in, what was it, 08, when the Patriots were playing the Giants, 31 NFL teams were fans of the Giants. You know what I mean? Like, it brought together almost the entire league. When Kobe passed away, it brought together everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody was talking about their favorite Kobe moments. I mean, it's,
100% of the population was sad the day Kobe died.
Yeah.
People that didn't even watch basketball were sad.
Understood. Yep.
well, with that, we are going to stick in the sports realm, and we didn't even name this movie.
What?
Is it a new one?
2019.
Have you seen it?
I have
Or
not
no?
seen it.
So you haven't seen it? I haven't.
I don't think anybody's seen it.
I don't know what it is.
I'm going to put my money on nobody's seen
Well,
it.
based off of a lot of your past picks, I would argue I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
not a convincing.
Probably
argument.
true. All right.
Did you pick this off of any sort of a recommendation, or did you just
Picked it off of Hulu. Well, Gage was here.
Jesus criminy?
All right. To circle back, our Budhole rating overall average 7.83, which is a little higher than the national average, which I think was 7.3. But
Yep.
They're wrong.
Right in
We're
the
right.
ballpark.
We are right.
All right. 2019. A man is pulled back to his rural hometown by his high school buddies on Thanksgiving to finish the Turkey Bowl, a football game.
Let's go.
The Turkey Bowl on Hulu.
Is it on Hulu or is
The
it on
Turkey Bowl.
It's on Hulu.
Let's go.
I was this close to watching that movie.
Thad Castle? Right?
Yeah,
he's
he's
in
in
the
it.
thing.
Yeah,
I
he
was in the
is.
same boat.
The
I would
fucking
have.
Turkey Bowl.
I was gonna do it as like a fall asleep movie.
Yeah,
But I was
yes.
looking at it and I was like, I might actually want to watch that. So I'll pick something else to fall asleep to.
Hell
welcome.
yes.
That's the
Turkey
movie.
Bowl is
All
the
right.
movie.
I'm
I
just
like
glad
it.
I've heard of it, and
Yeah.
it was just last night that I was scrolling through looking for something to fall asleep to,
I watched the trailer. It looks pretty funny.
Let's go.
and it's got Thad in it.
Yep.
Can't go wrong.
God, Blue Mountain State.
Is it
an
a comedy?
all-timer.
It's
All
a
right.
comedy. Yeah.
All right.
All
All right.
right.
With that being said, thanks for checking out the podcast. This podcast was brought to you by
Thrive Fantasy.
Don't point at me. Oh,
Thrive Fantasy and Shock Fantasy. Two awesome websites where you can get lots of fantasy betting on. You can bid props on Thrive Fantasy.
Prop Bets, and Shock Fantasy gives you all your daily advice and yearly advice.
prop up and go jerk off.
Bye. Check out our website, www.officialbudhole.com. We're on all socials at officialbudhole. Please leave us a rating and review on Apple Music, and we'll see you next time.